I just wanted to experiment, to find myself through clothes. I didn't conform, but to be very honest, I've been bullied a lot. So there was a price to pay for that, but I was willing to pay the price, respecting myself and my inner child. My psychologist told me something about what you're saying, because I was like, I'm scared to be a mother. I'm scared I'm gonna make mistakes. And he said, you know the difference between someone who is a bad parent and a good parent? Everyone makes mistakes. The difference is that you will ask for forgiveness. And you are already asking yourself this question of, am I going to do wrong or bad? Your father never asked himself if he was doing wrong or bad. I think being on stage actually is quite vulnerable because I sing about healing. I feel like I'm naked and I sing about my father. And so I feel vulnerable, but at the same time, I feel like the audience is vulnerable because a lot of people cry. A lot of men, actually grown men, come to me and talk about what they went through. So I feel vulnerable. But at the same time, I feel strong because I am sharing my story. Audre Lorde said, your silence will not protect you. It's intertwined to me, you know, vulnerable and strength.
And I want to make sure it's flesh. Am I saying it the right way?
Yeah, Flèche Love, exactly.
It's
like flesh, like skin, exactly. It's not written like skin, but you can pronounce it the same way.
Where did you get that name from?
Actually, I wanted to find a name that could sound in French and in English, and that could have different significations. You know, because in French, flesh is arrow, and in English, flesh is skin. And because of all the tattoos I have on my body, my relationship with flesh is really strong. It's really something like when you meet me is one of the first thing you notice.
Interesting. How long did it take you to come to that?
You mean to find the right name?
Yeah, that's French and English and is something that exemplifies you.
For me, you know, like the names are very important. You know, like it really is an energy. For example, my name, Amina, my real name in Arabic means the person that you can trust. It has a signification, a power, and I wanted to have a name that has love inside because I grew up in a complicated family where love was not something that was given, you know, and I wanted to have that in my name in order to never forget it. You know, I believe in the power of words. So if I say love, 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 it will come back to me, you know, in a way. At least that's what I think.
I love that. I don't think I've ever put a value on words somehow as much as that. And I have to really think about that. But I'm now hyperventilating. I absolutely cannot begin with anything else other than I'm freaking out over what you're wearing, literally. I need to know.
This is like super vintage. Actually, my mother gave me that. It's a Jean-Paul Gaultier, but very old one. You can see the corset. That was really like the style of Jean-Paul Gaultier. And she gave that to me. I think it has she had it for 20 or 30 years. Yeah.
And the pants?
And the pants is from a Korean brand, workwear. And I really love it because I love, you know, to have uniforms. And I don't know, I feel very safe in uniforms. I love harmony and I feel like it gives me like a direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love them too. I've been wearing actually every day this week this army flight suit. First of all, they have like a very distinguished look about them.
Yeah.
They elevate. They're like the opposite of sweatpants. You know, and also they're just easy. They're easy, but they have like a power about them and like an elevation about them.
And you know what? I feel like that when you've been traumatized and you don't have time to think about your style, uniforms are easy and beautiful at the same time. You know what I mean? Like my nervous system is feeling more in peace when I have uniforms because I don't have to think about it. I just feel beautiful and I feel complete.
It's so interesting that you should say that because my biggest challenge of life, absolutely the number one, is a regulated nervous system. It's been a lifelong to find love, being at one with the intelligence and the quantum field. And it's like really on my mind right now. And it definitely has a big effect on my nervous system. But clothing and style has been the bookend to that in terms of healing, just in terms of being seen.
Yeah. And honoring yourself, wearing beautiful clothes. I remember, like, I saw an exhibition about Frida Kahlo. And even when she was in the hospital, she was always dressing up, because for her, it was a way to honor herself. And when you lack of love, when you lack of, like, normally, like, your parents should teach you self-worth and everything. When you didn't have that, for me, clothes were a way to say, like, I'm worth it, I'm honoring myself, and I can be beautiful, and I can wear beautiful materials as well, pure cotton, raw silk, and
value that
exactly.
to understand that you are a gem. Like everybody's a gem. Everyone is a masterpiece. I know for myself, it's taken a lifetime to understand that, but I've kind of worked it out through my clothing and my style and the moods and emotions and just honoring myself from wherever I'm at that time. I feel in a way it's like a gift. It's kind of like the universe winked, like gave me this really difficult beginning, and entering into the world that was almost like a betrayal. But then it kind of winked and gave me this gift of creativity and understanding how to express myself on the inside and the outside, and it's created such a healing.
It's beautiful. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it's beautiful. I think for me, clothes is a kind of school, It's like it teaches you a lot of things, It teaches you about love, it teaches you about humility, about self-worth, about creativity. And because nervous system to me covers your true personality. So you kind of you react more than you live, you more than you experience, because you're surviving. And the path we had, both of us, and now we meet, which is beautiful, is a path of love and beauty as well, because beauty heals, and through clothes, because of the experience in our childhood, beauty was not a part of it, and
it was ugly.
Yeah.
It's a shadow.
Exactly.
And the opposite of that is beauty. And so clothing gives you the ability to express the beauty that you see in yourself.
Exactly.
And to claim that.
Yeah. And first outside, and then
that.
inside. Because, I started having this relationship with clothes before having this relationship with myself. So that's why I'm saying it's a school. You know what I mean? Like, it was showing me what I needed, but it took me a little bit of time to understand that was what I was trying to portray was something I needed inside of me. That was beauty, that was quality as well, because wearing clothes that have quality, it's very important to me as well. It's a way to honor myself and the people who created as well those clothes. And
yes, it's a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Which is something that sadly I feel is missing. It's part of the many things that are missing right now in terms of the clothing that's being made, as opposed to the clothing that used to be made, like Gautier.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in your age and all those designers were out, that it was a renaissance with all of those incredible designers. And I remember I would look at something like their creation, and I would say, wow, I don't know if I get this totally, but I'm going to try it. And then I would try it, and then I would make it mine. And then it would be who I am. And then I couldn't see myself any other way. So it was this whole relationship with their create connection to love and beauty, connecting to my receiving it and making it my own. And it's just such a beautiful experience. And I miss that a lot right now. I look everywhere to find any newness that does that same thing for me. It's hard to find.
What is beautiful about what you're saying is, I don't know how you feel about that, but I feel like you can be someone else. Like when you enter the imagination of a designer, then you get to experience other characters. And it helps in the healing process as well. It helped me as well to experiment with other stories, which is the same a bit with vintage sometimes, like you connect with other people's lives, which is helpful when your life is too painful sometimes.
Yes, and it's connecting in a way that actually is not words necessarily. It's like a
Yeah,
feeling. Like even what I'm wearing now, I just the colors and the
it's
embroidery and that
beautiful.
it's old and it's obviously from a very different place than anywhere where me in this lifetime grew up. Let's put it that way.
Mm.
Yeah, it just gives you this, it gives me this feeling, like an endorphin feeling. Can you talk a little bit about whether you've always expressed yourself this freely and what that journey was for you in terms of finding your style and feeling free?
What is a bit complicated is I grew up in Switzerland, in Geneva, which was in the 16th century, the places of Protestantism, which didn't allow a lot of colors, a lot of laugh, a lot of music, and that's something that we still feel in this city. So when I was a child, because my grandmother was a seamstress, I really loved clothes and I loved vintage, but at that time vintage was not very fashionable. It meant that you were poor, buying secondhand clothes. So a lot of people were making fun of my style and of me because I just wanted to experiment, to find myself through clothes. So I would say from early on, yes, I experimented with it, but I experimented as well being rejected because of my clothes. It was a way to express myself, but as well, while I was expressing myself, I was being rejected as well.
Did you stay with it or did you conform?
No, I didn't conform, but to be very honest, I've been bullied a lot. So there was a price to pay for that, but I was willing to pay the price, respecting myself and my inner child, because that's something that really helped me to heal. During my childhood, I was aware that my parents were crazy, which really helped me to find sanity. But yeah, always for me, trying to stay grounded and trying to stay myself was more important than being bullied. But it didn't mean that I was not hurt in the process. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And now I'm a musician. I'm an artist, so I'm getting paid to be creative, which is super nice.
And what about the tattoos? What was the journey of that?
The tattoos was a connection to my roots. My mother is from Algeria, from the east of Algeria, a place called Batna. Growing up in Switzerland, we had to conform, and there was always a part of me that was like, there is something missing, because my mother was not really sharing about her heritage. So I decided to explore. And at that time, my great grandmother used to have tattoos on her face here, I remember, and here. Like for me, she seemed like a witch, like a magical creature. And I was like, wow, this woman, it was for me beyond beauty. For me, she was old, but she was not old like every other grandmother. She was magical because of those tattoos. As a woman, for me, there is not anymore a question of beauty. Really, when you have a lot of tattoos, you are in this kind of magical creature place, which I love, because as a woman in a public space, people always talk about your physical appearance, and people with me don't really talk about that. And yeah, I wanted to create a safe space for myself, and I think those tattoos really do protect me and connect me to my ancestors as well.
I mean, looking at you, it's literally a masterpiece with the
Thank
tattoos.
you. Yeah. Yeah, you're not a human being anymore. You're a piece of art, which is beautiful. It's like you with your clothes. There's something else. We see that you are conveying some ideas, some things about yourself without talking to you. We like, oh, this person is creative. She loves clothes. She loves colorful clothes. It says a lot about you, and yeah, I think it's a good compliment to fashion as well.
Yes. Well, it's like jewelry.
Yeah. You have a permanent one.
I've often, wondered whether I should get one, or Lily always says to me, you have too much else going on.
What would you choose? Like, what would attract you?
I think about that. I think what I would do right now in this moment would be something about being a gem, or it's safe to believe.
So you would want like a phrase.
It's safe to have faith. It's safe to trust. It's safe to believe. Something like that would be what I would do right now.
I don't know if you know about that, but it really helped me to know that we are all made of dust star. It really helps me to know that I am much more than what I can handle, think about, see. Like we're part of the universe, the galaxy. We have divine origins, all of us.
It is absolutely everything for me. I literally just envision myself with the planets, or that everything is just sprouted out of this intelligence. My rescue dogs, a flower, the planets, there's an order. I'm part of it. I belong here, even though I might have been born into feeling like I absolutely am separate. And that's the scariest thing. I think the cause and the root of the problems that we have in the world are people feeling disconnected from that source.
What you're saying is like super right and simple and so right at the same time, but so many people don't understand that. And this disconnection allows as well people to mistreat children, because you will never mistreat children if you would feel this connection to the universe, because when you hurt a child, you hurt the whole universe as well.
Yes. It's just so sad. They're just disconnected from their own source and their own power source. They don't know their power. They don't know the gift that they've been given, and it's very sad. I think that we're just in a really transformational time that way. I wanted to ask you, why do you think that you were singled out? Why do you think you were bullied?
I think people are scared when they see someone who is embracing who this person is really. You know what I mean? Like, it can seem scary. And I think most of the time, sadly, children, the way they are treated at home is the way they treat other people outside. So I was angry at the time, but now I understand that those children were hurt as well. It comes from a place where they would love to be themselves. This rejection, like they gave to me, was the rejection they had at home. Now that's something I understand, but when you're a child, like I didn't understand that.
Of course not.
And I still meet people that I knew when I was a child, and they're still stuck in this rat race, and sharing with me the fact that they aren't happy about their lives, and the fact that they felt that they had to do the things a certain way without never asking themselves if it feels right. It's the same people, you know what I mean? And they didn't get the chance to meet themselves for the moment, but it's never too late. That's a beautiful thing. It's never too late to meet yourself, and you're always changing. So you're a shapeshifter. I'm more in peace now with myself, because I'm understanding that the pain people inflict is the pain they inflict to themselves first. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Something that really helped me that I want to share is that I understood that my father was super violent, but what I'm understanding now, and Lacan, who is a writer and French philosopher, wrote about the fact that in the interaction with each other, we are holding mirrors. Most of the time, the way you interact with people is you interact with yourself. And I feel like children are the best mirror holder, and what they are projecting to the parents is too painful most of the time. When you're mistreated is because the reflect of my father that I was sending to him was too painful. So it was not me that he was trying to hurt, it was himself. Sadly, I was holding the mirror, but it really helped me to understand that I was not the problem. He was hurt. There's no reason to hurt a child, but I'm learning now interaction with people as well. You can still feel that, the fact that we are holding the mirror. So we have to connect with people, and putting the mirror next to, us, and being able to really I'm meeting Elisa, I'm meeting you, you, not just a reflection of my pain, of my sorrow, of my joy. You are your own planet. You know what I mean?
I heard someone say the other day that frowning, like having a negative energy, and then expecting good things to happen back, like things to change, it's like looking in the mirror and frowning and expecting the reflection to be a smile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is a mirror. And I think it's so true that anyone that is inflicting pain, especially on an innocent or helpless child or an animal or anything that especially that's helpless, is simply someone who's really inside out and upside down, that just is not in their right self, is not in their true self. It goes back to the bully. When you step into your true self, when you step into alignment, no matter how hard it is, you feel so good. And that's when good things start to happen. So it's obviously what we're wired for. So when you're not yourself, you're going to be miserable. And you're going to want to take power away from someone that you see has it or you feel has it.
Yeah, and children have it. Children, they are just pure, this pure
Yes.
source of light and love. So it's sometimes too much for people.
Yes.
I think to be a parent, for me, means so much. Like, you really have to help someone to reach the sky, and there is humility. Like, it seems so complicated.
Oh my God.
You know, like I'm not a mother myself, but you
I
are.
am.
So you know how complicated it is, right?
The biggest learning experience ever.
I can imagine.
They are my teachers and my mirror. You cannot get away with anything if you choose, as a parent, if you choose to look at it that way. You can be in denial and stick your head in the sand and think that everything's going to come together and be okay when you're breaking things apart like that. It doesn't work, because that's what I came from. But from myself as a mother, I knew I wanted to heal. I knew I wanted to give my kids everything. It's impossible that I didn't have, but you know, you make your own mistakes. But I was very aware of just, I couldn't wait to say to them, what do you feel? What do you want? What do you think? Because I couldn't even have a feeling.
And you know, like, my psychologist told me something about what you're saying, because I was like, I'm scared to be a mother. I'm scared because I'm going to make mistakes. And he said, you know, the difference between someone who is a bad parent and a good parent, everyone makes mistakes. The difference is that you will ask for forgiveness, and you'll be aware, and you'll be willing to do better. And you are already asking yourself this question of, am I going to do wrong or bad? And he said, your father never asked himself if he was doing wrong or bad. And he never asked, sorry for anything. And yeah, I'm going to make mistakes. You made mistakes. Everyone does. It's just the way you handle those mistakes. And the fact that you're asking questions as well, like, how do you feel, is already like a lot more than what we both received.
Yeah, one of the biggest moments for me was, as your kids get older, there's different levels of mirroring and confronting and dealing and owning mistakes and all of that. And they become more stronger in themselves and more autonomous and can confront. Mine have really confront me. And to get to a place that I'm at now where they can say anything they want about me, of the fuck ups, and I'm like, fine with it.
So your nervous system is regulated, right?
It feels so good. In fact, Lily and I did a What's Underneath episode side by side, where she told me all of the things that I did that hurt her.
That's powerful. Wow. And this is an episode we can all watch? The episode you did?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to send it to my mother. It's super brave of you too. So thank you for doing this, because I'm sure it helps a lot of people, you know. I'm sure a lot of daughters send it to their mother, and the mother to the daughter.
I have dreams of What's Underneath becoming something for siblings and families and relationships. It really can be like a test tube, or a safe space for people to speak very vulnerably and honestly with each other.
Yeah. Now, would you say that you feel proud of yourself or what you have achieved as well, or?
I feel it's a relief. It's everything to me to free my own kids from the trauma of the past. It's a huge part, I know, of what I'm doing here. More and more and more, just making sure they believe in themselves and go and align with their own paths, no matter how hard that is. And it's very hard to do that, as we know in this world. All of that. Like, I just believe. And even if I hang up the phone and I'm crying and I'm not sure I'm even giving the right advice, I just keep doing it. And when I see it working, forget it. It's the best drug you could ever have. Them breaking through and the belief that they've had in themselves. It's exhilarating as a parent.
Breaking patterns is super difficult. Maybe you have ancestor who suffered for so many centuries, and you are the person who broke the patterns. Like,
well, you're doing it.
Yeah, but like we can already say that we are successful. You know what I mean? Like, this is success for me. Breaking a pattern and giving the opportunity to your children, because I don't have children for the moment.
But you can do it with anybody. You do it with yourself first.
Exactly. But you know, like, sometimes I'm wondering, what is success, you know? For me, this is success. Really, like, it's a milestone in my life. I'm still in the process of healing. I don't think there is a destination, you know. We arrive and we're like, woo, that's the party waiting for us. I don't know about you, but sometimes you kind of want to quit. You're like,
Yes.
And then there is this moment where something is happening and you feel like, whoa, all that I've been working on, there is now, I feel like there is a relief, and then you start over on something else.
It doesn't stop.
No, we survivors.
In fact, I think the more that you invite it in, the more it comes, because you're here to do that. You're here to become whole.
Yeah.
You're here to know how unbelievably amazing you are.
Yeah. Every single one of us.
Everyone.
Single one of us. Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
equal. That's that's the change we're in right now.
Yeah, and we're talking about mental health, which is a revolution because, you know, at the time of our parents, the question of going to see a psychiatrist or a shaman, complicated, and for men even more.
And bury everything. Bury under the rug.
Yeah, exactly. So we have, at the same time, we experienced something traumatic, but we had the tools that our parents didn't have. You expressed yourself and you created StyleLikeU, which is amazing, like, because you're sharing your story. I am doing music and I'm talking about healing in my music, and it helps other people. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I suffered so much, but now I'm making something out of it. And if I'm helping one person, you know, it's worth it. I'm not saying the violence was worth it, but the process of healing was worth it. And we connected. You know, it's crazy for me to be in this podcast because I watched your video, like, when I was a teenager as well. I was like, wow, this is incredible. All those people, that was inspiring for me. You know, I was in Switzerland, you know, you were in America. And now, you know, like, I had this journey of healing, you had yours, and now we meet, which for me, you know, my inner child is next to me. Like, what the heck? Like, it's beautiful. There is a vibration to healing, you know, you attract your tribe and people can hear you in a way, which is so nice.
You're closer. The more you heal and the more you become whole, the closer you are to everything.
And everyone.
It comes to you.
Something which is complicated is when you traumatize, you're alone, right? You're outside of the world. And once you start healing, you connect with people. You're part of the world. There is an ecology. You know, you're part of the stones, the plants and the animals. And we're not surviving anymore. We're just living, which is beautiful.
That's why when I say to people, how are you? And they just say coping or whatever, I'm like, no, that's what we're taught. We're taught to just cope. But what we're supposed to understand and learn and become awakened to is we're supposed to thrive. So what was a thing that you felt shame around and rejected about yourself, and once you claimed it, it became a power for you?
I think, you know, when you've been traumatized, we all developed some abilities. So when I was a child, everyone was telling me that I had too much imagination, which was a way for me to cope with the pain and to escape. They were like, oh, you have to go, you know, to get back to the present moment. And this imagination that people were shaming me about because people were making fun of the stories I was like inventing in my brain. This imagination is now my friend. It helped me to create the music I'm creating, all the artistic direction of the world I'm creating around Flèche Love. You know, everything is because of my imagination. The relationship has just changed, which means that I'm not like trying to embrace this imagination, not live in the present moment because I'm too frightened. It's just a beautiful place that I visit when I need it. You know what I mean? It's by my side. And it's a beautiful gift. Imagination is it's a friend.
What does it look like for you? What did it look like then? And what does it look like?
When I was a child, it was more about living, like creating another reality. I was sitting at my house, but at the same time, I was a princess in Mongolia, you know, riding horses. And I could live at the same time in those two different timelines, you know? And like, I was not really able at the time to realize what was really the present moment and my imagination. Because my imagination gave me so much relief that I was like, I wanted to go back to the state. Now my relationship is more about that my inner child is next to me, is always there, like she's always there. And I see through her eyes the whole world. That's how it helps me to, you know, like I'm mesmerized by nature, by the fact that we are alive, that my heart like is beating right now without me doing anything, that I can see you, like we can talk to each other, like the animals, the plants, the interaction in the nature. This is because of my inner child, you know? You know what I mean? Like she's still there. And I think I would, like, she would always be there for me. I'm trying to be a good parent to her, and I'm trying to value what she sees. And I'm like, whoa, that's beautiful.
Can I hear a little bit of your journey, the healing journey of the inner child, of what the stages were and what's brought you to where you are now?
I think what really helped me is my intuition. You know, when I was a little child, I was like, there is something wrong about my parents, which really helped me tremendously to understand that I was not a problem. It doesn't mean that it wasn't complicated for me, or whether I was like, there's something wrong. Adults can be wrong, and I don't know why I'm here. So I started connecting to my imagination, and I started as well connecting to sports, which helped me tremendously. You know, like I had this anger inside of me, this frustration that I could express through martial arts. And I became a champion as well, European champion of Kung Fu. And I was like, it helped me to gain a lot of self-confidence. And I think what helped me as well was my artistic journey, singing. Because, you know, at the beginning of the interview, we were talking about the vibration of words. I think from very early on, I understood that my voice and my words had the power. Because while I was talking to my father, he was super violent because I was saying the truth. For me, you know, like saying the truth was the most important. He could hit me, but as long as I was staying true to myself, I was honoring my inner child. And that's something that kept, you know, going. I was like, there's something about my voice. Like, my father is super aggressive because I'm just talking. So there might be something else, you know? So I started singing. And my parents were making fun of me, were like, oh, you singing so out of kids, no, beautiful. And I was like, I don't care. So in my imagination, I was imagining that I was, I did a lot of visualization, right? It helped me so much. I was imagining that I was singing in front of so many people, and people were like, oh, you beautiful, we love you. And so imagining those things, creating what I needed, helped me to go through the craziness of my family. And then singing, it helped me, you know, there is this thing called the yoga of healing, yoga of sound. And they say, you know, when you sing home or those kinds of, you know, words of vibration, it really heals you. Mm-hmm. So for me, singing was just being in myself and was trying to make me feel better. And then I started writing songs, writing histories, sharing my journey. And I was like, I didn't know that I would become an artist, but I was like, wow. I need to share my story. And I ended up being a musician. But I'm still healing, you know, like I'm still in the process. I think shamanism helped me a lot to connect, to know that I'm bigger than what I think. There's something bigger than me as well.
Can you give details of what that means? What was that experience?
I studied at the university ethnology. So that's how I discover like other way of thinking, you know? And I was like, whoa, shamanism does exist. You know, the fact that you're like human being is not the center of the universe. That's something that in Europe, like arrived with humanism, you know, the fact that we are the center of the world. And I'm an animal, like every other animal, but with specificities. And feeling like I was part of the world, I was this child traumatized outside of the world, and now I was part of the cosmos. And reading about shamanism, they have a relationship with plants, they talk with plants, they talk with stones. Feeling like I was part of humankind, of nature, helped me feeling that I didn't have a family, but I was part of a bigger family. But it's a beautiful journey. I mean, getting to know yourself. I'm my biggest relationship. We are all our biggest relationship. Yeah, and it's a process.
It is a process. I'm amazed that at such a young age, you knew that. It's really huge that you knew something was wrong with them and not you. That's unusual.
To be honest, for me, it always has been this way. And that helped me, you know, growing up and having this complicated relationship with my father. But I was like, he's not really my father. I don't know, because being so conscious at the very young age is at the same time a curse and a blessing, you know, because you're more mature than your own parents, which is super weird. It shouldn't happen this way. Like, I was too young. I didn't have a real childhood. I guess like you didn't have as well.
I saw through. I remember them at some point saying that they were nervous when I was in the baby carriage because of the way I looked through. Ooh. But I think I struggled more with internalizing it and feeling like something was wrong with me. Like it took me a long time much longer than you, double the amount of time to see that this isn't okay, and to step away.
Everyone has his own pace. I had the self-conscious, but it didn't mean that it was not hurting me because I was understanding how your parents could mistreat you. It was not making any sense.
It's a primal betrayal.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, was like, what is happening, So I was still trying to help them, and that I was willing to sacrifice my own inner child, to save them, which is not healthy as well. So it took me a while as well to understand that every one person has its own path. You can't help someone if this person doesn't want to be helped. And it's not your role as a child as well to do so. Because we always want to save our parents, right?
Or save anybody. I think people struggle with that. You can't save anybody.
You can only save yourself. But it's hard.
And then by your doing that for yourself, that gives other people permission to do the same. Which is why I think we're locked in this, patriarchy being held onto so tight right now, because they see how free people are becoming, and that would mean that they would have to confront themselves and their lives would have to collapse.
Yeah, and you would be surprised how many people, like those kind of men, they really suffered from childhood,
Yes.
Most of the time they are hurt in a child, and because of the thing they didn't resolve, they are now inflicting pain in the whole world. So that's why healing is as well collective. Because if we heal every single one of us, then we will live in a better world. And that's crazy. Like when you see the people who are in charge now, you can see the pain, you can feel the pain. At the same time, I feel sad and angry. You know what I mean? Like I have empathy, and at the same time, it's like, what the heck? Like, can't you see that this person is just hurt, and that this person needs help? It doesn't need to be in charge. To me, at least, it doesn't make any sense.
It's very complicated right now that way. I get what you're saying, because they have to be stopped.
Yeah.
They're out of control.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they are little hurt inner children having tantrums.
Exactly, yeah.
And avoiding their own pain. And by avoiding their own pain, they're creating war and violence.
Yeah, and they're trying to say hey, father, mother, see, I'm doing something. I'm powerful now. I'm big. It's still
I'm good enough.
Yeah, the same wounds again and again, but we don't talk about that. At least we doing, but we're not president, right?
But we're electing these people. So it's saying something about ourselves and where we are and the work that we all still have to do, which is yet to be seen.
Yeah.
Yes. And so what would you say is an insecurity that you've healed within yourself, or you're still working on healing, like the biggest insecurity?
Oh, I have so many. I think one of my insecurity was my physical appearance, because my father used to tell me that I was super ugly, which was something that he kept repeating to me, So I kind of internalized it a little bit. But now that I found love, I'm giving myself more love, and I met someone with whom I can have a beautiful and healthy relationship far away from violence. I'm starting to love myself a little bit more. And even if I'm ugly, there's no problem with that. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be a problem to be, whatever the face you have, the body you have. Still thinking that I'm not good enough is an insecurity that I have. I don't know if you have this, but sometimes we are overachiever, when we suffer from childhood. So I'm it's never enough what I'm doing. I have to be there, which is tiring. So I have to remind myself, the art of gratitude. We human being, we're not human doings. You know what I mean? I get lost in that. Yeah, I'm trying to do things and not embrace who I am. So this is a paradigm that I'm trying to shift. But I have so many insecurities.
Well, first of all, I just want to mirror back to you that I get the never enough. And it's one of the things, tattoos, that I am enough. That would be one of my tattoos. And you can rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can sit down. That energy is so much more powerful than the doing, the endless doing, the endless achieving. That's a big goal. That's a big goal for me, is to just let go.
Because it's a hole, you can never fill up this hole. If you don't feel like you're enough, no matter what. Like I could be like, I could sell out a whole tour. I could be the biggest pop star ever. It would never be enough because I'm lacking what is essential, which means self-worth and respecting like and honoring my path, which is way more important than anything that I could achieve. And and we are enough. Both of us, every one of us.
Well, you said it, one person is enough that you touch. And that's actually at a place where I am right now with doing this podcast. I wanted to put myself out in the front. I wanted to connect personally. I wanted to express my voice more. And it's a new beginning for me. And I'm rough around the edges in certain aspects of it, or it's nerve making. But I'm willing to take the risk because it's true for me and I believe that I need to do it. And I feel very honored with the fact that I care more about connecting with whoever wants to be here and not a certain amount, not staying at this certain place, not having to grip.
Yeah. Yeah, we are enough. We should say like, we are enough because we are alive, right? We are a miracle, which is crazy. Like we are billions of possibilities. Like I'm trying to program a brain to every morning to say 3 things, what I'm grateful about, which is the first thing is always like, whoa, my family and I, we are alive. It is something we take for granted, right? Like I ate enough today. Like I slept. We are wired. That's what I read by a neuropsychiatrist, to find what is dangerous in our environment in order to survive. So we're not wired to find what is positive and beautiful, but what is potentially a threat. So you have to rewire your brain in order to be happy and grateful, which is super interesting. So you have to train yourself. That's what we're doing, right? Through healing. And it's so interesting. It's sometimes against our own natural instinct. You know what I mean? So I think it's interesting.
Yeah. Gratitude is major. Gratitude is the antidote.
And it's an antidote that is free, that every single one of us can use every single day, which is nice to know, Sometimes when you think about healing, you always think about the big steps. But if every single one of us already just do the gratitude steps, in the morning and at night, 3 things you're grateful for, it already shaping something else. And it's already healing. You know what I mean? Like the neuroplasticity of your brain, you're changing it. And maybe you've been hurt in the past, but it doesn't mean that you need to stick to that person you were. You can change, which is so nice to know. Like it's a relief to know that I'm not the same person. We're not only survivors, right?
You identify with the old story when you're not aware of it. And then it's dominating you. It's controlling you when you're not facing the feelings. You're running from it. That keeps you in fight or flight. But when you allow the feelings, this has been my experience and a really big healing that I've done in the last year. When you allow whatever pain or trauma is coming up or whatever feeling is coming up, allow yourself to feel it. Don't push it down. And the intelligence, it will release it out of you because its job is for you just to be in peace and harmony and presence and homeostasis. That's its job. I've heard someone else speaking about this recently, that when you collapse that hardwired identity, I'm angry, I've been treated like shit, I'm pissed at the world, you're sending that, it's like frowning in the mirror and expecting a smile back, 1. And 2, that's the vibration that you're putting out. And 3, you're not that.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah.
That's not who you are.
I don't know where I've read that, but it makes me think about what you're saying, makes me think about the fact that we should not say like, I am sad, but there is sadness inside of me. Because the I am is like a vibration which is so strong. It's about identity, which is complicated because we always change, right? But like to have it stuck to your identity could make you feel like you are sad. You deep down, this is who you are. So that's why, we were talking about the power of words. What is super interesting about different languages is that it helps you to heal different layers of yourself. It's really different the way you express yourself in German and French and English and Spanish and Arabic, And it helps you as well to connect with other parts of yourself because the way you talk is also sometimes the way you project and you think. So it's super interesting to me.
I've heard other people talk about that, and I envy that. I envy that you have the different Yes, because actually, I'm reading about Helen Keller.
I think who is Helen Keller?
She was blind and deaf. I'm reading her biography.
Yeah.
She wrote it, that autobiography. She was like wild and out of control until she learned words. And when she learned language, she became, I don't know, I think she went to Harvard. I mean,
Oh, wow.
she was an unbelievably successful person, and she couldn't see or hear. But it was learning language.
Whoa. I mean, it's never too late. I don't know if you want to learn a new language, but for example, you don't love the same way in Arabic or in French. You have so many words to say, I love you and love in Arabic, which is super interesting because it really gets more precise and more poetic sometimes. And you know what? You asked me about healing and what helped me tremendously to heal. Learning another language helped me because French is my native language and it was connected to my traumas, right? And connecting to another language helped me to become another person and to connect to another culture as well.
Wow.
Where I was not this traumatized self. I could reinvent myself through the language, through the culture. And it helped me so much. It really and in my album, like Guérison, which means healing, I sing in different languages. And every language has helped me to get in contact with other parts of myself. I would say when it's more intellectual, it's about English. When it's more about love and passion, it's more Spanish. When it's about my childhood, my memories, my roots, it's Arabic. When I want to explore fun, it's German, which is different layers of myself. It's so nice.
That's unbelievable because it's all about how that vibration is connecting to the universal energy. That's what it is. It's like mantra. The sound is changing you.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
You don't speak the same, like my voice is different. It's not the same if I speak French, English. So I have different voices so I can explore a different version of myself, which is so interesting.
Wow.
I don't know. I find it fascinating.
It is really fascinating.
You should try to learn a new language just to have fun.
I think I'm inspired. When do you feel the most beautiful?
That's a good question. When do I feel that? When I play games, which is weird to say, but because in my childhood, we didn't really play. We didn't laugh. And now I play a lot. And I feel beautiful when I play because I feel that I'm connected to the most beautiful part of childhood, of things that I missed. So when I play with people, when I laugh, when I am having fun, I feel super beautiful.
You're letting go.
Yeah, I'm connecting and having fun, laughing is...
Having fun.
It's healing as well, because we talk about this very deep thing, but laughing is so important in order to heal for me,
Me too.
Not taking yourself too seriously.
Oh,
taking yourself seriously, but not too seriously. I feel like you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Something that when you've been in fight or flight all of your life is unfortunately, not something that you're used to. Is a lot of laughing.
Yeah.
When was the last time you cried?
Oh my God, I cry quite often, actually. I think I cried a few days ago because my father passed away and I did a ritual in order to cut, the toxic relationship we had and to send him peace, to him and to me as well. And I think I cried of relief, of pain for what he has inflicted me and of empathy for what he has been through. Yeah, which was a very, it's a big chapter of my life, because even if you don't see this person, there's still a connection, right? An energy, and this person is not here anymore. So I think that was a very important moment of my life as well.
Was it one of those deep, deep, soulful cries?
Yeah, that was, actually my partner was there and he cried because he felt, I think he saw me as a child. You know what I mean? I was crying from this very deep place and he felt all the pain that I felt. And I was like, okay, I want to cry one last time about my father. I want to cry and then wish the both of us peace and wish him the best where he is and the best where I am, but not being intertwined, connected too much. I'm still his daughter, but I am much more than his daughter. And I I broke the pattern as you did. This is what it is.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
Your parents are still alive?
Yes. It's so hard to, it's just so hard to be the outcast. It's so hard to be the misunderstood one. But I have understanding and empathy for them. When do you feel the most vulnerable?
Oof. I think being on stage actually is quite vulnerable. It's a very
I can't imagine.
Special and beautiful at the same time and weird experience. I feel like, because I sing about healing, I feel like I'm naked. And I sing about my father. And so I am sharing my story with people I don't know. And I feel vulnerable, but at the same time, I feel like the audience is vulnerable because a lot of people cry and they come to me, and a lot of men, actually grown men, come to me and talk about what they went through. So I feel vulnerable, but at the same time, I feel strong because I am sharing my story. I am using my voice. I remember Audre Lorde said, "Your silence will not protect you." And that's what you said about burying the traumas. I feel powerful and vulnerable to be here with you on stage and to talk about my path and my story. It's intertwined to me, vulnerable and strength.
They're best friends.
Yeah, they work together, right?
Vulnerability is strength.
Yeah, it is. So, and you? What about you?
When do I feel the most vulnerable? I think it's the speaking because, and publicly is my voice, and speaking in front of the camera because I did a lot of yelling and screaming when I was a kid and fighting, but I didn't acquiesce, but I wasn't given the confidence that what I had to say or who I was I was meant to feel like nobody. So speaking for me is stepping into somebody. And just getting from that place to that place is hard.
Okay. But it's beautiful.
It feels really vulnerable.
You're doing it, at least. We're scared, but we're still doing it, right? That's bravery.
And last question, what would you say to your younger self? What would you tell her to accept and not reject?
I'd say to trust her intuition, no matter what the adults around you would tell you, would try to make you doubt of yourself. What you feel is right, that you will grow up into a beautiful human being, that you will not be like your father, be like your mother, which for her at the time was very important, and that she has to trust the process, the universe has your back, and that I'm part of a community. I'm not alone. I will meet my tribe, and this healing process is going to be complicated, but she's going to be proud, of embarking in such a journey, which is crazy, beautiful, and painful at the same time. Long and beautiful, and that you're going to meet so many people along the journey.
Yeah, the discovery to how powerful you are, how much love you have inside, that you're born from this majestic and infinite intelligence, and the unfolding of that is just endless.
That's what you would say to your inner child?
Yeah, I guess I would.
That's beautiful. That's like a manifesto.
Similar to you, just trust. You're doing the right thing by not erasing yourself. I think I did what I would tell her to do. I did it, only I wish that she knew.
She already knew that, because if you know that, it's because there were seeds inside of you.
I had to know.
Every single children know that deep down, and sometimes
yes.
It's deeper, but they know.
They're closer to that power. It's only as time goes on that you get distant from it and you feel separate, and then you need to be reminded.
Yeah, that's what Picasso said, what you're saying. That it took him a few years to master, the art of painting. But it took him his whole life to unlearn and to draw like a child again.
Oh, wow.
It makes me think about what you're saying.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Thank you so much. This was absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
It means a lot.